to play for Kungarna actually for some time before they dropped that roster and moved on to the current iteration that you see in the pit and even in the beat as well. And then went on to Bunny Blasters for Open Division and is now subbing in here for LCG. And we got a pause.
Unfortunate here, but interestingly enough, at the very least, we will see this resurgence of those Pharah picks, not only on the offense as well as the defensive side. And we haven't seen too much out of NK when it comes to Pharah. What's your take overall when it comes to Eichenwald defense with that Pharah?
Well, I mean, it's something that we see a lot because, you know, sometimes teams think that there's going to be a, you know, a tank strat coming in. Oh, and just as oh, there it is. Everybody was wondering what the pause was for, but, you know, the admins that we have for Overwatch are so good. They're so good that they're able to see when Ruby is going to DC before it even happens. He actually just fell out, but he's back already. We got him back in. Hopefully he can stay long enough to play out these matches, though. But here's the thing. When you talk about having Ultimo up out and bringing in Son of God, that, you know, that hurts them, but not a whole lot. He can kind of integrate into the system, you know, and be okay. But when you bring out Ninja Nick, their primary shot caller, and I got confirmation on that is the case. You know, going with Car now, you know, that's a big mix-up that you have to now deal with. And Ruby is still up, DCing again. Oh no. This is, I mean, they're down 0-2 in the groups right now. You just don't want to see this here at this point when you need to battle back, when you need to win these maps decisively to have a chance at making it into the playoffs. It just doesn't look good.
And at the very least, they would look forward to potentially have a good showing with these last two matches, but things right now, as you said, not looking good for them as Ruby. Hopefully he'll get everything sorted out and that we will have that match resumed as soon as possible. But when you lose that shot caller, things are going to be very disastrous potentially here for them because they already lack that coordination overall when we saw them in that first day. And now, do you really take on the more hectic approach where whenever somebody sees a window of opportunity, they just call them out? Or would you say usually teams should assign somebody else for that role?
Well, it's going to be difficult because I would imagine they still want to put Car in that same position that we would see Ninja Nick in. So, you know, that would typically be the easiest thing for him to go for, and that could still be the case, but he doesn't necessarily know all the ins and outs of their team, especially working with Ultimate Weapon Shrugger, and then understanding how Chrono Dota plays. You know, is it going to be passive? Is it going to be aggressive? What kind of things can we possibly see from them? And we see him out on the Mercy, so things are going to be a little bit easier for them here because of the Mercy pick, but, you know, as we attack, we'll have to see, you know, what kind of things we're going to be being called. I would imagine they're going to be a little bit more passive with their engagements, kind of letting Ruby take the reins more often than not, and then pacing being controlled by Car when he can.
And now we'll see Shrugger play around that tower in terms of the positioning, looking for any opening as Ultimo Web is going to go in pretty aggressively. On top of that, Zenyatta will not manage to find the kill, forced to recall for now. It will be Frill finding Ruby in the end, however. They can get a 6v5, but as Frill picks up a double kill, things are already looking bad for LCG as don't get any advantage out of it. And Ultimate Economy still, of course, being built up on the defensive side. Offense really not finding any space whatsoever.
So going forward now, Shrugger still on the Pharah trying to take on NK, and it really has gone the way of Fractal Esports so far. We'll have to see if they can create an opening for themselves now, though. Tensa on this Mercy, keeping everybody topped off. Dino gonna fall early, though.
Ultimo does manage to find that kill in the end. However, Chrono Dota is going to be taken down. Shrugger finds NK in the air, and as a result, even though the Resurrect is going to come through, it wasn't Car go for one of his own, and now the Rocket Barrage is going to come out. NK is going to go down. Car picks up that kill, and as a result, we might still see LCG fight it out on the point for a potential win, but Gator gets the self-destruct, or rather, the Wild, the ultimate there coming out of him. I'm not quite sure why I thought the self-destruct was the one to pick up the kill, but as that will go through onto Car, they will manage to stabilize, and things were looking better for LCG, but Fractal Esports still recovering.
I mean, Tensa showing off a level of benevolence I didn't think a Mercy was capable of. Literally darted in front of a direct rocket that was aimed at Enke from Shrugger and took the kill, or took the death, so that Enke could just get off a little bit more damage. But as Tensa comes back into it, he's going to have Valk up very soon. Now, making sure that Dino stays alive, and that's the Valk out now. They want to group up here if they can, so that they can get this kind of chained healing, as Dino does have Transcendence ready. They should be able to stabilize on this one.
Shrugger does take a return kill and will go ahead and use that rocket brush. He actually is going to be able to find one kill. Does go down in the end. Will force out the Transcendence now from Dino as well. And I would expect him to win it out once again overall, as Karkar did use that Valkyrie pretty late, and even though there's is going to come through, Ultima comes back, gets another kill onto Dino, but I can't see it be quite enough, as Frill will find that kill in the end, and no ticks achieve on the point with 58 seconds remaining.
And they're going to find a Zenyatta kill as well. The defense matrix was just not there. I mean, it was so close. Mystic tried to make a play, but didn't make it happen, as Ruby will come back with Transcendence, but that's all they have to offer into this next fight. And we know all too well at this point, after watching EU, that a Barrage is fully capable of killing inside of a Transcendence. And NK knowing to just be kind of aggressive when he pops his barrages, I would imagine that he will still be able to find kills if he decides to, you know, get into a good position and pull that out, despite the Transcendence coming out from Ruby.
And now that we'll see that last potential team fight come through for the side of LCG, they need to make it happen off of this Transcendence, as Kuroda will manage to stay alive with that help. Self-destruct is gonna come through. Can it find anything? No, but in the meantime, both Tracers gonna get a kill of each. And oh, both Ferris sniping themselves up into the air, getting those direct hits, but the Resurrect is gonna come through. Ruby finds a big kill onto Tensa, and as a result, we might just still see this LCG lineup find the kills they need. But in the meantime, Gator now popping that Primal Rage will get the kill onto Ruby. Phil still answering, so the all-out brawl, as it's a 2 versus 2. Pulse Bomb is gonna come through, however, it's not gonna find the kill. Dino comes back in, and AK with the Rocket Barrage is gonna shut this push down.
And now as Fractal Esports look to attack, I mean, this is set up so nicely for them. They have such a great spread to work from. And 4 minutes down, capture progress at 0%. They only need the first 33%. That first tick is all that they're going to be going for here. And Ruby has been able to stay online for this so far, so that's at least some good news. But, you know, looking at where we're at right now, Karkar being in, they're down their primary shot caller. We haven't even seen LCG with their full 6-man roster so far in this tournament. And with how this matchup is looking right now, if they lose this, I mean, they're out of the group stages. It's sealed. It's done. It's sorted. So, you know, they have to somehow turn this around. I actually think mathematically they had to 2-0 these matches out to really even have a good shot. I'm not sure exactly how the math has worked out right now, but, you know, going into this, it was going to be very, very tough. And I don't know if it's even possible for them if they aren't able to tie this map out here.
Considering the fact that we might potentially see overall the same composition from that side of LCG.
They actually would be able to. If they somehow manage to win both of their matchups right now, because No Cloud just lost, they would be able to take this. So if they end up 2-2, they would maintain their ability to get this. Or if they perhaps end 1-3, and I don't remember if it's map determination in terms of their map score or not. I'm sure you guys.
I believe it is head-to-head, but
head-to-head. Okay.
But
unfortunate.
The problem is also, as said, that even if that were to happen, that means they would take down not only Fractal Esports, but yeah, Fusion University too. Yeah,
that's rough, man. Unlucky. Classic unlucky. Classic unfortunate. But as we start off here, yeah.
Putting up a show potentially here on this Doomfist.
Nope, never mind.
Aww. Bro. Shutting my dreams down, but we might still see him in the end pull that one out at some point. As Shrugger, in the meantime, picks out NK off from the skies, makes it a 6v5. The Resurrect should come through. Dino actually not getting punished for it. Was managed to find the space he needs, but Shrugger again winning that duel out.
That was 3 directs in a row, not even close range. Brings me back all the way to, you know, the first pit. We saw the same thing happening on Ilios. I believe it was on Well. It's insane to see that. Or it wasn't even that tournament, but even more recent. But nonetheless, Ultima Wep now on the defense. This is exactly what they need for LCG to be able to hold this one out and get a tie here and maybe keep themselves in contention for the playoffs. You know, you still have to look forward. You still have to take on Fusion University, which is going to be very difficult, but a win here would certainly be a good start. And as Ultima Wep and Shrugger are having a performance like this, you've got a chance.
Oh, but we'll see finally NK getting that advantage and now looking to get a Mercy down. Will manage to find that kill, and it's looking like in the end Fractal Esports should come out on top. But in the meantime, Ultima Web still looking to answer and delay things around. Will be able to recall, but no! As a result, he was not able to contest, and Fractal Esports will take the win.
So a quick 1-0 to silence LCG on the first map, but remember, they're still into it. They still have that opportunity. They have to win these next two maps, and then they have to somehow beat out Fusion University. It's going to be very tough, but this is what I was talking about when I was like, are you kidding me? Because this isn't even the only time that we saw him landing stuff like this, just constantly hitting directs. Shrugger is on fire, but so is NK at the moment. We'll have to see how this matchup continues. We've got another map coming your way. Don't go anywhere, guys.
And we are back, Brunch, rather quickly if you forget about the pauses. Fractal Esports looking really dominant in that one. It didn't seem like they had a lot of idea, LCG, on what they should do, considering they were missing their in-game leader, so to say.
And that really seems to be their bane, because we saw a very late Valk come from the side of Karkar, which, if used in a better fashion, could have still turned things around for a potential first point take. And overall, as said, the coordination wasn't there. And Fractal Esports, still as strong as ever, will be looking to close this out, as they've been even more dominant on Hanamura tonight.
Yeah, you mean Horizon?
This is the second time.
Yeah, this is
I
the
don't know
second
what's my obsession with
it's
that map.
probably your favorite map, I'd say. Now, Shrugger did look good on Pharah. I mean, all things aside, he did some moves. Now, coming into Horizon, what can we expect?
Again, probably a dominating performance out of the side of Fractal Esports. More dive overall. NK most likely going to be running the Genji. Once again, looking for big plays, big play of the games in general. But when it comes to the other side, I would actually like to see potentially Schwager pick that fair. We've seen the likes of Piece of Cake over in the European side of things really make it work on Horizon. So maybe switching things up, coming in with a surprise pick here and there could throw a wrench in Fractal Esports works.
Yeah, as you said, he did do good on Pharah, but I'm kind of skeptical playing Pharah on this map. I think there are way better picks than Pharah. Now, let's see if LCG can make a comeback. Let's jump right into the map.
All right, as we start off here defensively, it looks like we're seeing Karkar coming back, the sub for this roster. Again, came from Kungarna, Bunny Blasters type background. Certainly knows these players well. Played against them quite a lot. And he's going to be back on the Mercy. And that's, of course, to kind of empower Shrugger and Ultima Wep whenever possible. I think primarily it'll be Shrugger when they can, but Ultima Wep is over here on the side, and Karkar is probably going to have to move over here, and he does indeed. So bringing the Mercy back, you have to wonder if, you know, with this dive we see from Fractal Esports right out of the gates, if they dive on that Mercy, there's no way for that Mercy to get away from it.
And we'll see already on the side of Fractal Esports looking to go aggressive underneath Gator, though. Being forced to use that bubble, will be dropping really, really low. Shrugger looking to dish out that damage. Will not be able to pick anyone out just yet, but Ultima Web potentially looking to get that Riptire as fast as possible. Already though, Shrugger halfway there towards that infra side will spot out these flankers. And Ultima Web now getting the best out of Gator means that they could still win this team fight potentially.
And that was a boosted headshot as well from Shrugger off the Discord. So Gator just got, I mean, he got annihilated in that particular fight there as he came in, but still continuing. LCG looks to have stabilized for now. And as Frill comes back from respawn, Gator getting into position, they're still putting a lot of aggression towards killing off Gator whenever he comes in. They put the Discord on him. They make sure that Shrugger or Ultima Web is beamed up, and they take the extra damage. NK falling. They're just taking picks one by one right now to make a defense.
And with that hook coming through, it will almost put Gator in very big trouble. But Karkar, now that he does have the Valkyrie, could potentially secure another teamfight win for the side of LCG, as we'll see the Transcendence be coming out of the side of Dino. Will potentially go ahead and watch Fractal Esports looking for an opening. NK actually gets the kill onto Ultima Web as he was trying to go for the Riptire, and NK alongside the rest of his team already fragging out. And this should be it. This should be the point already going in favor of Fractal Esports.
Now it's all about what you can get done when you come out the other side. Going on to point B, Ruby does have a Transcendence, which will be good to have an answer for the Blade, but they have a sound barrier of their own, and we're seeing Frill going forward, putting some pressure out early on, taking away the health pack as well, just getting some early sight lines, getting some info for the rest of his team to know where to engage. If he can get them low at all, if at all possible, then maybe Gator can execute on that. They already send them up onto the high ground, send everybody back. Oh, and he's battering Ruby around, but finally Ruby does make it to the point to help secure Karkar's res, but it's not going to go through. They're falling now.
And as a result, it will be first stick already achieved. Nobody inside to contest for now. Shrugger still on that Widowmaker as Mystic will be desuited, not allowed to stay on the point. And already with 5 minutes and 23 seconds left on the clock, Fractal Esports once again storming that second point on Horizon.
This was already looking like a grim day for LCG going up against what are two of the strongest teams in the group right now on their final day, already down 0-2 in the group stage. Basically need to win scenarios for both of these matchups, and to be in this kind of situation where you're already down 0-1, unable to cap the first point on Eichenwald, and then come over to Horizon Lunar Colony and let a time like that go through. it's just so unfortunate for them here because playing against that, their morale has to be just in the slums right now. And to try to battle this back, it'll take a lot. And we saw already some pretty stellar performances from Ultima Weapon Shrugger, and it's nice to see that duo coming back into it because, before we had Son of God instead of Ultima Web, but to have these guys back and playing together, they're really going to be kind of leaning on those two to try to make this happen. They need to have a quick take here to get their morale back up in high regards as well because, they need something to lean on. They need some kind of positivity because right now there just isn't any.
And at the very least, I'm sure Gravity is going to be happy because NK is sticking to that McCree, so no Widowmaker on the side of this Fractal Esports lineup. Will be interesting to note whether or not he's going to have a little bit more success, considering it will be a quad tank composition here for LCG. And one of the big problems we've seen in the European side of things when it comes to Horizon is the fact that if they pick those quad tank comps and are unable to go through and get the snowball onto the second point, having those resets come through in terms of that swap with your composition really shaves off a lot of that time that you have allocated for yourself when it comes to the offensive side.
They're going to get pulled around and anti-dive-ish setup now as Karkar gets eliminated. And remember, this is not their normal Lucio player. This guy's subbing in for them as Ninjanik isn't here at the moment, wasn't able to make it to the match time. Maybe he'll come later. I'm not sure how that exactly will work, but for now, they've got Karkar in the mix, and they need to find a way to get over to the point without being taken down by Frill. And he's got Chrono Dota low. They're going to get trapped there. It's triggered, and Chrono falls.
And as a result, making a 6v5, Riptide is already good to go. Looking for the targets. He should be able to find one. It is going to be Shrugger. And already Fractal Esports dismantling LCG as NK picks up Ruby as well. No real gain coming out for LCG as Ultimate Web is going to go down too. And at this point, it's just looking very bad for them. At the very least, though, if Ultima Web can continue on charging up towards that Graviton, maybe that can be what enables LCG to, at the very least, get things started on this first point.
And now we'll see them re-entry. Ruby is getting kind of close to having his coalescence, and with Chrono Dota getting trapped again, they're just not checking it at all, Brunch. I mean, I don't understand why they're not doing that. Karkar left behind, and you can just see how they're just not playing together at the moment. LCG with Coalescence at the moment, still trying to make their way into the point. Kalush pulls in Chrono. Now they're down their tank as well, and things are just slowly getting peeled apart from LCG.
Even NK got hooked there, but the fall wasn't at all in place here for LCG as Kalush is going to come in with the whole hog, gets a double kill, cleans it up, and of course nothing in terms of that percentage being built up for LCG means that it will have 1 minute 50 seconds left on the clock. But again, now that Ultima Web does have that Graviton, if you can find those big targets like Tensa in it, it could potentially open up things for them. But Dino's going to be able to answer with the Transcendence. And now that the Riptide has come out, already shuts down Chrono Dota and the Mystics mech at that too.
They do have a combo to work with for this point, though. They do have Graviton, Whole Hog combo to just throw onto the point if they can get them clustered, but still, we still see that there's Rez's possibility. There's still Transcendence in play from Dino. If you want to make this work, you really have to play the long game here, try to pop that Transcendence and really make those kills happen later on. You have Coalescence, Sound Barrier will come up soon as well. Get onto the point, keep Karkar safe, so that you can start pulling these ultimates out slowly. Don't just drop everything instantly if you can. But Ruby pulled in on the backside.
As a result, it is going to be 6v5. Dino's going to go ahead and contest, not let them have even one tick on the point with the use of that Transcendence, but is that going to be overcommitting them for them? As Shrugger is going to manage to find one kill onto Gator. Deadeye is going to come out, doesn't find any targets, but gets the decent at the very least, as we'll see the Coalescence come through from Ruby, but so far, only one tick on that point. 28 seconds left. Riptide once again finding Chrono Dota. Frill having his number on the horizon, and NK with Frill still finding those targets, still finding those kills. It means that this is looking like it should be it here eventually for Fractal Esports.
And late kills now as we're seeing some swaps just to try to see if they can get back onto the point. Chrono Dota falling in that last fight was huge as Mystic goes out late as well. 6v5 at absolute best. We see a charge, but Chrono Dota again going to be denied the opportunity to pull out the Earthshatter, and Fractal Esports takes it quickly with a 2-0, not just on the map, but in the series as well. And LCG falls, and now I believe are completely out of the running for the playoffs.
And as we will be moving on after this commercial break to the last series of the night, LCG will look to, at the very least, have some better showing, but considering the fact that it's going to be up versus Fusion Esports,